quick introduction about me. I've been doing the sound engineering for past 7 to 8 years. I run a studio called Virtual Tapes Production. It's based in Bangalore. I'm also a live sound engineer. I work with 15 to 20 bands in Bangalore and in and around India. I mix for them live, making them sound good. So that's my job. So it's something what I really enjoy.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Jus Baatein, a space where stories come alive. I'm your host Aakansha, and today we begin this journey with someone who knows what it means to build sound from silence. Someone who's been shaping audio with soul, and not just that, he is someone I always look up to when it comes to mastering my song. He's a producer, a sound engineer, a live sound expert, and the founder of Virtual Tapes Production, the one and only Paul Daniel.
Hey, Aakansha, thank you for inviting me on this podcast. I'm glad to be part of this.
Paul, so glad you're here. You know, every great journey has a spark, a beginning that defines the path ahead. So, how did your journey into music production and sound engineering begin?
When I was in my college, they sent us to a studio to record one of the projects, and I saw there is someone called a sound engineer. There is a studio which is doing this kind of job. That kind of drew a lot of attention in me. Post my graduation, I went and enrolled for sound engineering itself. And since then, it's been an amazing journey every day.
Was there a specific moment or person that triggered your passion?
Yes, I used to follow this one artist called Andy Mineo. He used to put out his behind the scenes, how things were done, how his music was actually done. That kind of inspired me. I got to know the workflow of a studio. I got to understand what kind of gears they use.
That's amazing. It's incredible how one artist's behind the scenes can open up an entire world for someone. Today, I see you wear a lot of hats in the audio world, and each one requires a different mindset, doesn't it? You juggle roles producer, engineer, live sound expert. Uh, which role challenges you the most and why?
I would say it's a blessing that I kind of get to juggle between live sound and studio because both has different perspectives, and I should say I kind of enjoy both of it. What I'm accustomed to in studio pulls me out from my comfort zone and makes me put extra effort when it comes to live sound. So that's something what I really like between these. But my approaches are kind of different on both of it. When it comes to studio, I've been doing it for a very long time now. So I have a set of my workflow, which kind of gives me that result. But when it comes to live sound, I'm way ahead prepared when it comes to shows. And coming back to that question, which one makes you feel more challenging? I would say live sound definitely. Even though I'm doing it for 6 to 7 years now, it kind of pushes me into a different zone where I'm way ahead, prepared, ready to embrace every single challenge. Because when it comes to live sound, I feel it's more of troubleshooting than being more creative and mixing. Yeah, I should say live sound is kind of challenging, but I think we are getting there where things are made a little easy for you. Coming back to the question of why, because anything can fail when it comes to live sound. You never know. You have to be on your toes. Let's say you have a celebrity and you're mixing him, that mic cannot go off by any chance. And even though it fails, I have multiple backups to sort that. And also, it's a huge production. A lot of people are involved. If one person doesn't do one thing right, it can cause problems later. So, yeah, that's kind of challenging because it's a huge production and you have that responsibility to pull a show off without audience even feeling any issue went on during the show.
Wow, people often don't realize how much precision, pressure, and preparation goes into live sound. It's not just about mixing, it's about problem solving in real time, often invisibly. That level of responsibility truly separates a good engineer from a great one. How do you transition creatively and mentally between studio work and live gigs?
That's an interesting question, I would say. Creatively, I think I have all the freedom in studio, so I have that time to think and work around. I can still tell my clients, just hold on. Because most of the time, when it comes to giving a song back to a client, the final master file, I usually don't give it back until I am satisfied. But yeah, there is some amount of time set, but I will still wait and I will do all my check, all my research on how this audio can get better. Post that, I give it to them. So I have that creative freedom, so I can take my time out. But when it comes to live sound, so I prep all my show files before even going to a show. The tracks are arranged. I get to know who's playing what, their positioning, what kind of sound I'll be mixing up to. So I keep my effects ready. Sometimes I work on snapshots, so that kind of helps me to be more creative because I cannot go and do all of these on the show day. I cannot prep on the show day, so I prep at least 2 or 3 days before the show comes in. So that's the only way I can creatively mix a live gig.
That's such a thoughtful approach. It shows how preparation fuels creativity, especially in high pressure environments. I love how you balance spontaneity in the studio with precision for live shows. It's a great reminder that creativity isn't just about freedom, it's also about discipline and readiness. So, talking about live sound, it is such a beast of its own. It's one of those roles people don't fully understand until they see the magic unfold. So, what's the biggest misconception people have about live sound engineers?
It's kind of sad, I would say, that there is a misconception because it comes down to those olden days, or let's say 10, 15 years ago, or let's say 20 years ago. The technology, what we used to use for sound, and was not that advanced. Let's say there's a public show outside. The standard thought or the people's approach back then was get some amplifiers, get some average sounding speakers, put them. There is nothing called sound engineer. The rental guy is the sound engineer. He gets in, puts those, connects all the channels. There's sound just coming through it. Let's say if they check the mic kind of works. So they settle for that. But right now, things have grown. Things have grown exponentially, I would say. The technologies every single day, what's happening in live sound is insane. So it's quite interesting and fascinating for live sound engineers now because you can get a great sound out of it. You can use all your creative workflow, be prepped much better to deliver a great show, to deliver a great output. And even now, I would say a lot of people don't know that there are live sound engineers because we are somewhere behind the scene, always in the back most of the time, unless if there's a problem. Only then there is someone looking at the back and saying, "Oh, can you fix this?" Oh, there was a person. So it kind of comes down to that even now. But yeah, I think there are few people who are aware of live sound engineers, and for us as live sound engineers, or for me, like I try educating people that I kind of do this. I do this for my living, and I try educating them. There are a lot of sound engineers. When a band is there, there's always a sound engineer traveling with them, and he is producing the signature sound for the band. That's why they take you, they trust you, and all that sort.
Absolutely, Paul. I'm so glad you brought this up. Tell us about a moment when something went terrifyingly wrong during a live show.
Okay. Um, Multiple incidents, but this one stands out. Uh, so I was mixing one of the corporate gigs. Corporate gigs meaning for a corporate, they would have called a band to perform, and there's a lot of events happening that day. But they want to jive at the end of the day for the music. Just that's why there is a band. And there was one of the shows which had a very tight sound check time. They were willing to give us 45 minutes. I'm cool. I'm cool with 45 minutes because I'm prepped way ahead. I try to get the best with that time. If you give me more time, I'll be able to deliver much more better. But usually, a standard sound check time should be around 2 hours, 2.5 max. So there was one show where I pretty much did the sound check. Yeah, this show I did the sound check, and I was saving it to my pen drive, and the board got reset. The console, the machine got reset. Whatever we did just went on for toss, and my soundcheck time was out. I informed this to my bandmates, and they trust me. They were like, "It's okay. Let's figure it out. Let's go a little early, right before our performance time. Let's go 15 minutes ahead, and let's sort our sound for that." So that gig, they gave me like 10 minutes or 5 minutes, I think, right before the band came in. I sorted their in-ears. I had my show file right. So that kind of helped me. It was a good show. Like a lot of people came to me at that day and they were happy with the sound because I had great equipments also on the other side. The speakers were great. It sounded great. Quite a lot of people who were in the tech crew were surprised that I was able to pull it off that quickly. So yeah, that was one of the terrifying incidents.
Wow, Paul, that sounds like every sound engineer's nightmare. Losing your entire setup just before the show. But the way you handled it with such calm and confidence really shows the power of preparation and experience. You also built something of your own, virtual tapes production, right? And as someone who creates emotional experiences myself, I know how personal such a project can be. What inspired you to start virtual tape production? What's your long term vision for the brand?
Kanksha, as you know that I met you in the other studio where I used to work. So I worked in this one particular studio for 6 years, pretty much doing everything. When you work for 6 years, you're pretty much in your comfort zone. But the possibilities for you to grow is kind of limited. So there was one fine day, this thought kind of appeared to me when I was about to sleep. I was like, why don't you do something of your own? How long? How long after knowing everything about a studio, you're still working? So this virtual tapes kind of came to my picture. I know building a studio and keeping it more consistent is kind of hard. So I wanted someone also to be part of this journey. There's always this saying which says, if if you want to do it alone, do it. It might take some time for you to achieve. Uh, and if you're doing it with someone else, you'll be able to achieve it much more faster. So I wanted someone on board with me. And there was this one guy called Pratap, whom I met in the previous studio. Very much creative. He's quite younger than me, but his creative thought and the way he used to work at that age itself was something what caught my attention. And I was thinking, I always had a thought, if I open a studio, I would definitely want him with me on this journey. So I pitched this idea to him, and he thought about it, and he was like, yeah, let's do it. And virtual tapes just came into existence. In 2 months we were up and running. I still say this, it was just a thought 2 months ago, but within 2 months we were up and running with clients. And yeah, that's how that happened. The long term vision is, yeah, we are a running studio called Virtual Tapes Production, but it's already expanded now. We are an audio institute called Virtual Tapes Audio Institute. We offer diploma in sound engineering, and we are government affiliated. And currently, we are running 2 batches, and that's something nice to see, the growth in 2 years itself. But apart from that, yeah, virtual tapes is evolving and is getting into different aspects of sound itself. We are into acoustics because the studio was so beautifully built. Everyone who steps in this place wants us to build a studio for them. And yeah, we are already with couple of projects where we are building couple of auditoriums, couple of studios in and around. Let's see. I don't know in what all places we can acquire and do. We are in production house. We take care of video. We take care of audio. We take care anything related to music and sound.
That's truly inspiring, Paul. As artists, we know that technical skill is just half the game. The other half, emotion, intuition, soul. How do you bring emotion into something as technical as mixing and mastering? Do you have a philosophy or signature when working on a track?
Yes. So there is a technical aspect to whatever I do, but adding an emotion is is something what I always aim at. It could be achieved by certain things, but I remember back, like let's say 2, 3 years ago, when I used to mix a song, I used to particularly aim at only one thing. There should be one wow moment in the song. So anyone who listens to it should definitely get goosebumps. That was my only intention. And now that's kind of dissolved, I should say. But yeah, I still aim at giving those emotions out. It can be created by a reverb push on a certain part, or let's say the singer has beautifully sung that one particular portion and that needs to be highlighted. That's the most important part for me, where I would put a lot of my efforts there. Let's say some delay throws, some different effect which is complementing that, maybe reversing that vocal and gliding it in straight when the main vocals are about to hit. Yeah, there are multiple ways. So the tools of what I have kind of helps me to achieve bringing that emotion out. Yeah, I should say. Yes, there is a philosophy. Philosophy straight goes back to I have reference tracks when I am mixing or mastering. Those are not the tracks what is produced here locally, but I aim at international standards. So I have references which is well produced, well mixed, well mastered. So let's say I'm working on a rock genre. I would take the best song which is out there, which is produced well, mixed well, mastered well. I would try aiming to beat it or at least to reach there. That's the philosophy I follow when it comes to mixing and mastering. And that kind of gives me a perspective where I am. Am I too good? Am I too bad? Where am I? So that's my philosophy.
That's such a beautiful perspective, Paul. It's a reminder that mixing just isn't just technical, it's emotional translation, right? Your touch becomes the invisible thread connecting the artist's soul to the listener's heart, and definitely it's a challenge. What do you look for in an artist or collaborator? Any memorable collaborations that pushed your boundaries? Those moments when you go, I didn't know I could do that until I worked with them. That's where the magic happens.
So yeah, currently I work for 15 to 20 bands and multiple artists. I don't know. I've been doing this from 2016, so I don't know the amount of artists I've been worked with. Yeah, I have a good connect with everybody. I always look for an artist to give me an 100%. I like artists who push their limits to the max, who don't settle for, okay, I think this could be fixed, this could be mixed, and it could be better. I like those who give their 100%. They're like, no, Paul, I think I didn't get the emotion right. I have to get it right, and it's not on time, and all such things. And when it comes to studio, that's something what I really look for. People who are very creative, who do their pre-production bit, know their harmonies, vocal production wise. They know what the vibe is going to be like of the song. Instead of me explaining them, this is how it's going to sound like in the end. Mainly to put it in practical words, it's more like one who does their homework and practice well. I like collaborating with them. I like enjoy working with them a lot. And when it comes to the live bands, yeah, let's say I'm working with 15 to 20, but there are a few bands where I really enjoy working with. These guys are timing the visuals, what's being played on the LED in the back for every single song. They have light engineers setting cubes, and at the end, it's not just audio. It's a package. It's like a movie. You come to a show, you watch, you feel an energy. And I like those people who really put those efforts out, the pre-production work, arranging tracks, backing tracks for it, cues, panning, guitar tonal change by a MIDI trigger. I like working with such bands. It's quite interesting, and it kind of places you in a right spot with all the people who are working towards this 100% of effort for that show. Yeah, I would always love working with such people. I should say, yeah, there are a lot of shows when it's technically not fine and you have a great band, you are challenged with getting a right sound out with the average equipment you get. So that's kind of happened to me a lot. So, but yeah, I try giving my best, and at the end, I think people understand the acoustics factor of it and all of such things, and people appreciate your work.
You have worked in some incredible places. Those aren't just gigs, they're ecosystems like Bali and Lollapalooza. So, how has working in places like Bali and big festivals like Lollapalooza shaped your work? Any cultural sound experiences that stood out?
It's kind of interesting, I should say, because every single place they work is kind of different. For me, it was more of learning everywhere. Every place I go, it's something I look for to learn. And meeting those musicians, I should say they're really, really talented when it comes to different artists. They're really talented. And your job kind of becomes much more easier. And I was mixing in some big clubs, and the acoustics were quite different, I should say, to the new usual scenario here locally. But yeah, I should say the people made all the difference. They understand your work, they respect your work, and they know that you're bringing your best towards them. And I think it's more of a social connect what I have there. And every time I go, I visit those places. It's nice to go and just mix for them. It's one of those biggest festivals I've ever done so far. I liked the professionalism, the way every single thing was done, and there is a saying which says, always try to be the smallest in the room because there is room for learning at that moment. I was literally among the tech crew of Shawn Mendes, Cory Wong, Cory Wong himself, and great artists all in that same under the same roof. And you could actually go meet and talk to anybody and understand their workflow and how things were done was quite challenging for me as well, because the way things were done is quite different. Your sound check times are restrained to a certain limit, and you have 4 stages in 4 different spots, and everyone is supposed to maintain some amount of consistency and level. It was quite challenging, but I like challenges. It was fun. It was fun being among with the greats and still doing your thing and meeting. So when it comes to these huge festivals, I always look forward to learning. And Shawn Mendes' performance happened. Everything was done to perfection. And I met the sound engineer after the show, and they were kind enough to. So I usually have questions how things were done. What did you do to achieve this? And what are your tips? So I can constantly grow. So it was nice to have a chat with them and understand how they were doing. And there's a mutual respect because you're sound engineers. They are more interested in telling you, okay, how did your mix go on? Where were you standing and listening the show? It was nice. It was a nice conversation. I got to learn a couple of things and techniques what they were using. So yeah, I think Lollapalooza was insane, to be honest.
So let's talk real life. Creativity needs refueling. And I often wonder what artists do to just be human. What does a typical off day look like for you? What hobbies or routines ground you? Whether it's a it's coffee, a bike ride, or just being at home. We all need those rituals that brings us back to ourselves, right?
Kanksha, I should say, what? I don't know, man, where you got these questions quite nicely put. I think it's been a long time since I've taken day offs. The moment I travel abroad, I think only then it's kind of like a day off for me. But apart from that, I should say now I'm trying to restrain myself and try to take. I'm trying to take day offs. It's more like that because I've been working for a very long time. I used to work 365 days every single day. I wouldn't recommend anyone to do that. But yeah, I really worked hard. Now taking day offs is it's kind of funny, but it makes me question. I'm not being productive on that day. But whenever I try getting that time, I make use of it. I try spending time with my family, try taking them out, have some nice conversations, explore some restaurants. Yeah, that's something what I do. I don't know, and I've developed this routine to stay more consistent and to be more productive, I should say. Uh, I wake up by 5:45 in the morning, and I hit the gym. I at least work out 4 to 5 days in a week, because sitting in this chair all day long, I know I'm not moving around a lot, and that definitely is not going to help my health. So I work out for an hour or so, and post that my devotion, which I do every day, and I come down. I conduct classes. Have 3 sessions, 3 periods, where I teach. Post lunch, it's my studio time. Small of clients coming in, and I would record, produce, mix, master. That goes on, and I try winding up at 8, because I feel I have to be consistent at this. So it's good. I go sleep early and come back. So my sleeping time has been 10:30 for a very long time. But yeah, when it comes to shows, I think that kind of breaks. But it's nice. I try following this. It keeps me right, I feel, and it's nice. It's nice to follow a routine. Yeah.
Absolutely, Paul. Those simple things are often the anchors in our fast paced creative lives. It's refreshing to know even behind the console, there's a person who finds peace in life's quieter rhythms. Moving forward, there's a whole generation of young audio engineers out there watching reels, tutorials, dreaming big. So, as a mentor, what advice do you have for young audio engineers starting from scratch? What's a mistake you made early on that turned into a lesson?
I would say this audio engineering field is not like a easy field. You have to put out your effort. You have to give your 100% or more than 100%. I remember joining audio engineering the first day. One of the lecturers, was brutally honest. He said, "You guys have no clue what you guys have chosen. You guys know what have you chosen. You know what's your career path, where you guys are going to be ending up." And that kind of stuck to me for a long time. And I knew this field is quite challenging. Unless you put out your 100%, you cannot make it. So being young back at that time, even I'm young now, after every class or after every session, I used to go home, do tons of research. I spent most of my time in research, I should say, when I was studying. I got to know about every single piece of gear, every single microphone. I used to watch a lot of videos. YouTube nowadays is the, is a good thing, and you can learn literally everything. So spend most of my time there, and I was able to get a job right right after my graduation. And yeah, I think everything kind of paid off. So I would say work hard. And also for who have graduated, please go out, make connects, try to be more social. This job runs on recommendations, runs on connects, mutual connects. So try doing that. Don't work. This is my practical experience. Don't work for a long time in one particular space, because you try to become comfortable in that place, and you don't grow a lot. So I would recommend everyone to work for a certain period with certain set of people, move on, find another group, explore, because it's vast. Music itself is vast. One connect can lead you to another, and you never know where you'll end up. So yeah, just don't stick to one thing for a very long time.
All right, so it's time to switch gears with a rapid fire. Say the first thing that comes to mind, analog or digital.
I should say it's both, but yeah, I've always loved the sound of analog, and like the flexibility of digital, but I would still choose the analog path any day, because of the smoothness and the warmth and the roundness what it kind of gives. Sound effect,
Most overrated sound effect.
it's more like this chimes coming in uh, here and there. So I think that's most rated for me. But yeah, I mean, like, it's a beautiful thing, but it's commonly used a lot.
Your go to music when you are not working.
I listen to every single genre now, and I think I've chosen an acoustic or a chill kind of music on my day offs, is because I hear sound every day. So I'm not frustrated, but yeah, when you hear a sound for a long time, you just want something calm in your life. So I kind of listen to acoustic oriented, soft, uh, mainly acoustic driven songs. Yeah.
One artist you'd love to mix for.
I had the privilege of mixing Mary Ann George from Maverick City. She's a Grammy Award winning singer. That was a very nice show. And I think, certain days kind of it lives with you for a very long time. And those moments, those experiences, I really liked the way that day went, and it was a nice moment for me. I was thinking, yeah, if my dream job or if my collaborations should be with someone who's attained greatness. It's always easy to work with people who have attained greatness because your job becomes much more easier. They understand your workflow. They're much more prepped. They're talented. It's less work for you. So, yeah, I look forward to working with more Grammy Award winning people. Not Grammy Award winning people, but someone who's accomplished a lot of things. Yeah.
What an inspiring ride it has been with you. And we have learned creativity, resilience from you, from prepping for chaos and life gigs to pouring soul into every studio mix. It's clear that your passion and preparation go hand in hand. Paul, thank you so much for being on a show to educate young, aspiring artists. And I really wish you all the best for your production.
Thank you, Akanksha, for having me. It's something very unique. I should still say this again. Very nice questions. And yeah, I really hope this reaches one or the other person. I know the way I spoke was much more technical, but I really hope people get educated by this podcast. Thank you for having me. Thanks.
To everyone watching, thank you for tuning in to our very first episode of Jus Baatein. If Paul's journey inspired you, share this with a friend you feel would be in need to connect. If you wish to connect with Paul Daniel, you can find his social media handles in the description below. Follow us on Instagram, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay with us as we bring more voices, more vibes, and more real talks in the episode ahead. Until then, stay curious, stay grounded, keep learning, and keep growing.